Welcome. So this week we're going to learn Parshas Korach. Another tragic parsha where Korach led a rebellion against Moshe. And at the end, the earth opened up and swallowed him, and so Rashi says like this. The pasuk, "V'kolu al Moshe v'Aaron v'yomer," and they said, "Rav lachem, you have enough. Ki kol ha'eda kulam kedoshim b'toichem Hashem. Aduot is not so kal Hashem." He's speaking to Moshe and Aaron. Why are you lording it over Klal Yisrael? Kulam kedoshim. So Rashi says like this: "So Mara Korach lach like Moshe." Why did he start a machlokes with Moshe? So he says, "Niskana al nisiyusay shel litzofen ben Uzziel shemino Moshe nasi al bnei kos al pi adibur." Levi was divided into different batei av. There were four, and besides Levi, each of the batei av had a head, a nasi to each of the batei av. So the Beis Av of Kahas, no, I'm sorry, there weren't four, there were three. Gershon, Kahas, and Merari, there were three. Kahas had four sons, but Levi had three, and each Beis Av had a nasi. So who's the nasi on Kahas? Elitzaphan ben Uzziel. Moshe appointed the Elitzaphan ben Uzziel that he should be the nasi of Kahas. Elitzaphan ben Uzziel was the son of Uzziel. Uzziel was the youngest son of Kahas. Moshe and Aaron were from Amram. Korach was from Yitzhar, and Elitzaphan was from Uzziel, who was the youngest son. So he appointed Elitzaphan, he should be the nasi of Bnei Kahas. Amar Korach, he says, "Achi Abba Hayu." We had my father was one of four sons. Shenemar uvnei Kahas Amram Bechor Natlu Shnei Ban of Gedula. Amram was the oldest, so his two sons took Gedula. They took great positions. Echad Melech, Echad Kohen Gadol. Miroi Little Sashnias. Now you have the next thing. Who's going to be the nasi of Kahas? Who should take that? Me. He says, I'm next in line. I'm the son of Yitzhar. Moyani, shouldn't it be me? Shani ben Yitzhar, Shusheni Lamram. I'm the son of the second son. V'hu mona nasi is ben achiv akotten mikulam. He appointed the nasi, Elitzaphan ben Uzziel, who was the youngest. Hareini chayluk lov mevatel dvarav. So I'm going against them. A lot of what I'm going to say now is from Pshutim, but I think it's kedai just to put everything in context. So that was the reason for his machlokes. Now Rashi says later, Rav lachem, harbe Yosef midai lakachtam lachem gedula. You took too much gedula. Kulam kedoshim, all Klal Yisrael is kodesh. Kulam shamu dvarim b'Sinai. Madu tisnasu im lakachta atam malchus. If Moshe became the melech, then Aaron shouldn't be the Kohen Gadol. You're not the only ones that heard the Anochi Hashem Elokecha. So why are you doing this? So he's over here. He's being chaylik on the Kuna Gedola. He's saying it's enough that you took the Malchus, you took yourself Melech. So now the next thing in line is Kuna Gedola, and that should go to me. You're the son of Amram, number one. You took Melech. I'm the son of Yitzhar, number two. I should get Kuna Gedola. So what exactly is happening over here? He's saying that he wants the Kuna Gedola, so he didn't dispute. So it's like a different thing. Here he's saying that he wanted to be the nasi of Kahas, and here he's saying he wants to be Kohen Gadol. That's one question. And what does it mean, Kol Eida Kulam Kedoshim? They're all Kedoshim. What is he? Does he want to be Mevatel the Kahuna? He doesn't want to be Mevatel the Kahuna. There is a Kahuna, and he wants to be Kohen Gadol. So what does it mean, say, Kol Eida Kulam Kedoshim? And so Maya said there was a dispute here between Korach and Moshe and Aaron. Who should get which job? Who should get the Kahuna Gedolah, or at least the Nesias of the Beis Av of Kahas? That was between them. Why did that involve everybody else? There was a tremendous rebellion over here. There were thousands of people died. People went after Korach. He convinced people to follow him. Why did they want to follow him? What's the difference to them if Korach is the Kohen Gadol or Aaron is the Kohen Gadol? Why, or if Elitzaphan is the Rosh Beis Av, or if Korach is the Rosh Beis Av? What did it matter? Why are people so involved in such a? And they all got upset. They said Atem Meimatem Esam Hashem. Atem Hamitem Esam Hashem. He had like a major uprising in his hands. All of Klal Yisrael came to him and complained. What do they want? And also Moshe says like this. Moshe got very upset. V'yichal Moshe moed v'yomer el Hashem al teifen el melchosam lo chamer echad mikem nasasi. I didn't take away anybody's donkey. I didn't do bad to anybody. Like, who mentioned a donkey? Why is he saying I didn't take anybody's donkey? We're talking about high positions, Kuna Gedolah, Nesias. Who's talking about donkeys? Why is he mentioning a donkey? In Bemison, you find the same thing in Daf Torah. In Daf Torah, Shmuel is upset with Klal Yisrael that they wanted a melech. So he said, "Okay, I'm going to give you a melech." Because I was a shofet all these years. You weren't satisfied with me. He said, "Hini anu bi neged Hashem, neged Mashiach. Bear witness about me. Es shor mi lokachti, v'chamor mi lokachti." Who accused Shmuel of taking a chamor or a shor? Why is he bring? It's very similar to what Moshe said. Shor mi lokachti, chamor mi lokachti, smi yashakti, mi ratzoisi, miyad mi lokachti koifer, v'alamein v'ay. Like, why are they saying this? So Bemison. Some question: How is Korach cholik on Moshe? Moshe was al pi adibur, and Aaron was al pi adibur. Did he think that Moshe was not al pi adibur? Did he not know that Moshe went up l'Shamayim and Har Sinai and he brought down the Torah? He didn't know that Moshe was appointed by the Rabbeinu Shloim. What was the argument over here? Was he kofer in Matan Torah? What did Korach want? So I think what Korach is saying like this: of course there was Matan Torah, and of course the Rabbeinu Shalom appointed Moshe should be the Melech and Aaron should be the Kohen Gadol, and he gave you a lot of power. But when you have power, there's always a risk, and the risk is that power corrupts. You're not immune to that. The Rabban Shalom may have given you power, but just because the Rabban Shalom gave you the power doesn't mean that you're immune to be corrupted by that power. You have to fight against it. You have to guard against it. Power can corrupt. So here he says Moshe and Aaron wasn't Pi Adibur. Rashi tells us Elitzaphan was also Rashi says Shemina Moshe Nasi al Bnei Kos al Pi Adibur. It was also al Pi Adibur. Korach didn't believe it was al Pi Adibur. It wasn't fair. Why would the Rabban Shalom point Elitzaphan So he assumed that it's not al pi adibor. So he's saying, look, Taka, you had the Melucha and you had the Kuna Gedoyla. Why are you appointing, when it comes to appointing a Nasi for Kahas, which you're not doing al pi adibor, you should appoint me. Why don't you? Teretz is, because you figure that Elitzaphan is the son of Uziel, who's the youngest. So he is weak. So therefore, you will be able to control him. He will do what you want. But me, I'm Korach. I'm the big Korach. You appoint me to be the Beisav of Kahas. You're going to have to contend with me. I'm not going to be so pliable. So therefore, you went and appointed Elitzaphan. This shows that you are corrupt. And if you're corrupt, then you forfeit your rights. Why should you be? Well, Taka, the Rebbeinu Shalom gave it to you, but he didn't give it to you to be corrupt. He gave it to you to fulfill the Rebbeinu Shalom's Ratzon. If you become corrupt and start manipulating and doing things to make sure that you stay in power, that nobody can speak up against you, you put weak people in place that you should only have to contend with weak people, then you're not deserving of the power. This is what he said. And the people were convinced by this. So the people felt that maybe Korach is saying something right. Maybe they are corrupt. And if they're corrupt, we have to start again. We have to do something else. We have to change. Maybe Korach should come out he's the one, he's the visionary. Maybe he should become the Kohen Gadol. And he should be able to balance Moshe. So, because he's not Moshe's puppet. So maybe that's what we should do. So Klal Yisrael was afraid of corruption. They were afraid that he's corrupt. So he's saying, Kulam Kedoshim, you have to be, this is not, Washington or something where everybody is corrupt. This is Kulam Kedoshim, you can't be corrupt over here. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, I'm not corrupt. And he says, if I was corrupt, then I would have taken your chamor, I would have done something. Nobody has a word of complaint against me. I never did anything to anybody to do anything negative to anybody. I didn't take anybody's chamor, I didn't ever do anything bad. So I am not corrupt. That was his taina. And the Rebbeinu Shalom showed that Moshe was right, and Korach was swallowed up. Now in the Haftarah by Shmuel, I'm just going to touch on something which we'll discuss at much greater length when we get to Shoftim. The Indian of Sam Tosim Aleinu Melech. What was the taina on the Zakenim that they came and they wanted a Melech if there's a mitzvah in the Torah of Sam Tosim Aleinu Melech? So Bekitzer, what I'm going to say in Shoftim, greater length, but Bekitzer, the mitzvah of Sam Tosim Aleinu Melech, is that the Melech, it says, first you come, and then you conquer it, and then you have a Melech. Why don't you have the Melech right away to help you conquer it and to help you settle it? Why is Melech later? Teretz says the mitzvah of a Melech by Klal Yisrael is not to be a political leader, not to be a chief executive to administer a government. The mitzvah is that he should be a manig ruchni. Now we'll speak later about what was going on during the Tkufas HaShoftim and why there was no Melech during Tkufas HaShoftim. Yom ein Melech B'Yisrael Ish Yoshu ben Avyasa. What was then? But Lamaisa, the idea was that the circumstances have to be right, that the Melech Yisrael should be a manig ruchni, and he should not be involved with anything which could lead to his corruption. That was the idea. Anything which would corrupt the Melech, then we don't need a Melech yet. When the circumstances are right, that the Melech could come in and be totally focused on Torah and Yerushalayim and Midas Tovos and being the manig who's going to bring people to the highest levels of Ruchnias, then you become the mitzvah of Soim Tos Mulach HaMelech. Before, when you have to fight a war with Nachash HaMoini and you need a Melech to mobilize the country, that's not the purpose of the Melech. And if that's what you're going to bring a Melech in, then he's going, and Shmuel told him, I don't have the psukim from him, he says, he's going to take, I don't know if it's not in this after, he's going to take your sons and your daughters, take this and that. He's going to take everything, because once you point to Melech, he can do anything. So he says, until now, who was your leader? Me. I was your shofet. He says, did I ever touch anything? I was not corrupt. I was just a shofet. I did my job as a shofet. You would not. There was no corruption. But if you're going to, now that you're appointing a Melech, you should know that you're leading yourself to corruption. That's what he told them. So so he uses the same lashon. There was no corruption by us. In the leadership of Klal Yisrael, there was no corruption. Nobody took your chamar. Nobody took your shar. There was only anhaga piatayra. We were not melachim. We didn't have the power of a melech, but we were the leaders of Klal Yisrael. And as the leaders of Klal Yisrael, as the shayftim, there was no corruption. Now you're going to open yourself up to corruption. That's what he said. Okay, I just want to conclude with two small things here. It says that they brought those 250 people. They brought the machtois, and those machtois, it says like this. Then there was a sreifa with the ketores. V'yorem es ha-machtois v'bein ha-sreifa. You should tell. Take out the pans, the machtais, and the eish is the deshen. Rashi says kikodeshu, because they are holy. What is holy? Rashi says zrei hola la'aretz. The eish means the fire and the deshen, the ashes that are in the machtais. You should zrei hola. Rashi says la'aretz ma'ala machtais. Throw them onto the ground from the machtais. Ki kodeshu ha-machtais, because the machtais are kodesh. Vasurim banoah she'osum kli shores. They made the machtais to be kli shores, so the kodesh kedush saguf, and they're osur banoah. So throw out the deshen. So why does he have to tell us to throw out the deshen? I mean, it's understood. There's deshen in the machtais. So if you want to take these machtais and use them, in the Mishkan for other things, you make a tzipui, you take the machtais and you make a tzipui l'mizbeach. You can use them for shteitzach. You have to throw out the deshen. So the Seforno says that the deshen was also kodesh. And when he says throw it out, it meant put it in the Beis HaDeshen. You should put it in the Beis HaDeshen. But Rashi clearly says not like that. Rashi says zirei hola la'aretz. Throw it on the ground. Why did you have to be told to throw it on the ground? So, could be that the Gemara says in Tmura, the Flamadalad, that the Nisrofin, the Deshen is mutabana, because once it's burnt, then it's nasa mitzvasai, and then it's mutabana. Kol nasa mitzvasai is mutabana. So I might think that this Deshen over here is asur bana. Why? Because it wasn't nasa mitzvasai. Therefore it's asur bana. So that's why the pasuk tells us, no, Vibal the Deshen served the purpose of being Mekayim the Tzivur Hashem, so it is nasa mitzvasai. So mainly you can throw it out. That's one. And one more quick part. Just an observation. It says before the Magefa, V'daber Hashem al Moshe, Heroimu mitoich ha'eda, separate yourself from the Eda, v'chaloisem kerega. V'yipla al pneim, and Moshe said to Aaron, quickly run and go make a kapara, because ki yotza ha'kesef mafnei Hashem heichel ha'negev. The Magefa has already started. It's already started. How did he know the already started? He said, right now it's already started. You got to run. Take any second. Well, how did he know? So I just thought maybe, because before, the Baruch Shalom tells Moshe, "Hibodlu mitoich ha'eda azois v'achala oisam kerega." Hibodlu means be mavdil yourself. Hibodlu means like separate yourself, move away from them. Heiroimu is something else. Heiroimu is not separating yourself; it's lifting yourself up above them. So if the Magefa didn't start yet, so of course what does Rashi say? The Magefa started, that the Mashchas came out. So if the Negev didn't start yet, then you can just say Hibodlu. But if the Negev started already and the Mashchas was released, then Hibodlu is not going to be enough. Then you need Hiroimu. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again next week.